Annie, I had no idea, your mom didn't tell me a bit about this special surprise, so I really appreciate that. It made the convention special for me, as your mom promised it would be, so thank you. Now, we talked before about old friends, and sometimes it's hard to part company with our friends. So, Joe, I didn't forget about you. Joe Anderson, past department commander. Joe's going to be leaving us after a long tenure with the DAV. For health reasons, he's not thinking he's going to be able to participate very much, if at all. So I wanted to ask Joe, can you come up and say something to the convention, past department commander Anderson? Joe's done a lot to these. There's one right there by you, Joe. Joe's got a cochlear implant, so it's kind of a miracle that he can hear. But when I came to a First District Conference in 2003, I was surrounded by a bunch of past department commanders, and they all told me at the time, when I said I just joined the DAV a couple years ago, I just became active in my chapter. I don't know how to be a district commander. Joe's one of the guys that told me, along with the current cadre here that I announced, and others that are gone, don't worry, we'll mentor you, we won't let you down. So Joe, I appreciate your friendship through the years, and I'd like you to say something to the convention body.
Well, the main thing I can say is I'm really going to miss a lot of people. It's like my extended family. And I debated whether I really needed to do this, but my wife taught me the same thing. She says, it's time you walked away. Start taking care of your health. I've had several operations. Very recently, last month I had one. I got probably 3 more looking me in the face in the next 2 months. And it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to walk away when you've been doing this for 20, 30 years, but you know, a guy's got to do what he's got to do. I enjoyed everything, and I appreciate all the people I worked with. I made a lot of friends, and I'm sure I made a lot of enemies too along the way, but you know, that happens. You know, I try to always do my job to the best of my ability, and I would wish everyone a great future and a great success. I'm not saying I'm walking away for good. If I get better, you're probably going to see me again, so I'll give you a warning, you know. But I do wish this organization the best. There's no better. Thank you.
So here's the segue, and here's the importance of what I'm trying to point out by doing this. And I want to point out one other thing, that as older senior members, for health reasons, reasons of leaving the community, finally taking the pack off, health reasons and family reasons. There are all kinds of reasons people who are now approaching or over 80 no longer can participate in a way that we're used to. It's important for us as an organization to bridge the gap between those older veterans that are one by one falling out and retiring from the organization. We've got to move up to maintain the vitality of the organization. My good friend Clarence Stoll, 51 years as an adjutant in this chapter. This is his scale back here. He's going to start training up some other guys. He's finally said, it's time for other people to move up, and I'm going to train people. I can't run this thing forever. So it's what a lot of the momentum that's going on. Tomorrow, there's going to be a speaker here. He's going to have a presentation table. His name is David Krissinger. And Al is our legislative director. He's hosting David. There's going to be a breakout room addressing just that subject for the younger veterans entitled Bridging the Gap. And David's the author of a book on the topic. He also gives many transition assistance briefings. So at this point, again, we are an organization in transition. It's not just happening here in DAV, Wisconsin, it's happening nationwide. And I'd like to, at this time, acknowledge the fact that in our attendance today is National Adjutant of the Disabled American Veterans, Mark Burgess. Mark Burgess is a veteran of the Persian Gulf War. He was appointed National Adjutant at nearly 1.3 million member DAV on June 1st, 2013. As DAV's senior staff official, National Adjutant Burgess serves as the organization's chief executive officer and leads the 650 member DAV staff, managing all operations of the organization of wartime injured and ill veterans, one of America's largest charitable institutions. Prior to his appointment, Mr. Burgess served as executive director at DAV National Headquarters in Cold Spring, Kentucky, guiding the organization's voluntary services, fundraising, accounting, administration, information technology, communications, logistics, and plant operations. Mr. Burgess's DAV career began as a National Service Officer on October 23rd, 1995. His first assignment was DAV's National Service Office in Baltimore, Maryland. He then went on to advocate for veterans in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia, at DAV's Board of Veterans Appeals Office, and as appellate counsel before the United States Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. Mr. Burgess also provided management oversight of DAV's service programs as Associate and Assistant National Service Director at DAV's National Service and Legislative Headquarters in Washington, D.C., and served as Director of Human Resources and Assistant Executive Director at DAV National Headquarters. The Hattiesburg, Mississippi native earned a Bachelor of Business Administration degree from the University of Pennsylvania in 1996, a Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies from Stevenson University in 1998, and a Master of Arts in Human Resources from the University of Cincinnati in 2010. Mr. Burgess served the U.S. Navy from October 1987 through October 1992, when he was medically discharged. His service included crew member and plank owner aboard the USS Normandy. He joined DAV before his discharge from the Navy and is a life member of Chapter 19 in Cold Spring, Kentucky. Mr. Burgess and his wife Amy reside in Hebron, Kentucky. He is the father of 2 daughters, Cassandra and Victoria, and a son, Beaumont. At this time, please welcome National Adjutant Mark Burgess.
Thank you, Commander. Good morning, everyone. Let me start by bringing greetings from our National Commander, Moses McIntosh. We had a decision to make a few months ago. We were deciding who's going to go to which conventions, and our commander drew the short straw. I got to come to Wisconsin, so he's in Hawaii right now. Tough duty. The commander goes where the commander wants to go. Yeah, good point. Commander didn't get to go to Lambeau, all right? And you'll notice in my bio that I was born and raised in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I grew up about half a mile from the state football stadium at the University of Southern Mississippi, which is where Brett Favre cut his teeth on football. Ultimately, I know he's a legend here. Every time I turn around, I'm seeing a picture of Brett Favre. A lot of Brett Favre items in the store at the stadium. Let me let me say that it's very refreshing being here this morning, hearing the content of the information being presented by the DAV, the auxiliary, the Department of Veterans Affairs, State Veterans Agency. Clearly, here in Wisconsin, we're all working together, which is what it takes. We're all working together. The presentations from the VA were right on point. You know, Al LaBelle is going to give a presentation later in the convention. I'm not going to go into detail because Al's the expert on the issue that he's going to be presenting as a member and chair of the National Interim Legislative Committee. But what he's going to talk about, I urge you all to be in the room if you can to listen to that presentation, because the state of veterans health care, the Veterans Health Administration, is at risk. I'm sure you've all heard about the Commission on Care and the recommendations, and we are at a critical time in the history of veterans health care in our country, and as advocates for ill and injured veterans and their families, it is our duty to make sure those that are making the decisions are making the decisions in the best interest of those we serve. And it's pretty dangerous right now, so please be present, and if you can, listen to Al's presentation. Now, you're going to hear from me a couple of times later in the convention, so I'm going to be brief and close out my comments there, other than to say that for myself and the guests on the stage and all of you that are here participating in the convention, we have the easy part. We show up, we get to listen to the reports, the information, all the good things that are going on in the state of Wisconsin, the DAV and the auxiliary. But let me tell you, it's a lot of work putting on a convention like this. The work started months ago. One person doesn't do it, it needs a team working together. And I can see already, just being here for a couple of days, that this convention and the folks that are facilitating this know how to take care of the serious business of the DAV and the auxiliary, and also have a good time, some good camaraderie. So I'm looking forward to the next couple of days, and it's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of the department and Commander Wilkowski, thank you very much. And as everyone knows, this is the 25th year anniversary of first Gulf War Desert Storm. So I have a 25-year-old document that I want you to take back, because you are a Gulf Storm veteran. Here's a 25-year anniversary poster. It says, "Welcome home." That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much.
That's about how old that picture was that Ann found on Facebook of me about 25 years ago. Seems like yesterday.